Okay, in this next video here, we're going to talk about one more setup. Well, one or two more setups actually. There's a setup in particular where there's a video out there where the setup is, you're like this, and then, hey, and then, oh, you can't jump out, and hey, good stuff, and if they jump, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to, hey, whatever. First of all that little fancy schmancy stuff I just did, as in the video, which they did cover this in the video, just hold down, please. Hold down and block after I hit you. Obviously, he can just remain, it's just going to whiff. Now, obviously, which has been covered in the video, that they can just hold down, and of course you can cancel as they keep holding down and block, and you can, and then, when they go to get up, you can come in and do that, okay, whatever. Hold down again. After I hit you. Or, you can't pick him up like this, but you can pick him up with down 3 and then go from there. He's going to block it, so I'm not going to get any advantage. So if he just stays on the ground, I really can't do anything. There is one option you can do. Hold down and block. Technically, you can and pick him up with that. But it's too many options. They can wake up attack. Sometimes they can do a wake up attack and it'll autocorrect and still hit you if you go backwards. It's just too many variables. The ultimate goal of Sub-Zero, go ahead and block. The ultimate goal of a Sub-Zero player is to put you in this position right here. If you hit somebody right here, first let's look at the damage this combo does. Go ahead and get hit. So let's look at this damage right here. 26%. Now this is true. If you get hit by this, Sub-Zero gets the 26 plus this 41. But this is not guaranteed, and this is a big if, because he might just as well lose that damage as opposed to get it. Now, if you happen to hit somebody with something like this, go ahead and block. That's 29, plus they're forced to block this, and you already have them in the same really messed up setup that we showed earlier. So you get 29 guaranteed, plus the chip guaranteed, plus that. Now, the beauty of this particular setup is when you do, if you get a jump and punch to a 2-2 in the corner, and you're fighting like a reptile or a cabal, you want to keep them grounded by using back 1-2-1, because if you put them in the air and they break airborne and they dash out, they'll be able to dash away and get out of the corner. So what you want to do is keep them grounded there. Now, true, the other setup also keeps them grounded, but the difference is it knocks them on the ground, and you don't get that guaranteed clone setup that you get with this. So this, you have guaranteed more damage, and you have guaranteed the clone setup. You don't have the same guaranteed situation. You have the option for additional damage, but no guarantee of it. And that's 41%. But if you look at combos like this, I already have 41% guaranteed. Or I already have 55% guaranteed. Why am I going to say, well, I'll get 26 guaranteed and maybe give up position plus lose damage when I already have 41 to 55% guaranteed in this situation? Or, not only that, I also have 29% plus the chip, which takes me over 30, and the clone trap, which we already established is the most effed up position Sub-Zero can possibly put you in. You're giving your opponent too many options. The options are equal here. Sub-Zero, there are some situations like in open space where Sub-Zero does have to kind of, make these kind of reads or whatever to get you in a position like this. But when he has you here in this position, and you have the option to guarantee take that much damage, or guaranteed take over 30%, and still put them in a messed up situation, guaranteed, you don't trade that in for non-guaranteed damage, non-guaranteed setup, and with the option for them to always lay on the ground and give you basically nothing and keep things at neutral. That is just, it's just not good. It's just giving too much power to the opponent. The next thing I want to discuss is, go ahead and block. Some things of doing this, which is very old in my opinion, that into the full charge back too. One, it just takes too long to come forward, and you just kind of have to be pre-committed to it. The best thing, and you don't want to just say, okay, well, if they can jump over me, and they can just jump and punch 2-2 and blow me up, and you don't go ahead and block. Why would you want to do this and then jump? Do it again. When I start charging, jump back. Jump over me. Why would I want to go ahead and start charging and knock them out. And see that? You're not even on the clone. I would have to, 2-2 him, freeze him, or whatever it is right there, or 2 freeze him. Why would I do that? Go ahead and block, and then just jump out anyway. Jump out. They already can't jump out anyway. And the only reason they already would want to jump out because of the effed up situation they're in. When you remove the messed up situation they're in and try to do too much when it's not necessary, you're giving your opponent options they don't have. When Sub-Zero has you in the corner, the opponent should feel helpless. The opponent should not feel like they have options, which is why ending combos with back 1-2-1 or 2-2-2 or stuff like that, or even like there are characters that just can't get out of the corner at all. And those characters you can do your maximum damage and still back up and clone. But characters that have options, you don't want to give them any additional options. So you don't want to sacrifice that much damage for non-guaranteed damage, and you don't want to sacrifice that kind of a messed up setup for lesser damage and still not guaranteed setup. Always remember the goal with Sub-Zero, when you have your opponent in a corner, is to put them in the most messed up situation possible, giving them as little options as possible. Giving the opponent more options doesn't help you, it actually helps them. Because you can, technically you can guess right once, and then, get extra damage, but you can also guess wrong, like, 5 times in a row, and then be blown up by the time you guess right. You want to go with the most consistent, most efficient way to limit your opponent's options while giving you the most options possible. So there's absolutely no reason to do either one of these 2 setups right here. I mean, it looks nice and it's fancy smancy and all, but just the fact that the opponent alone can go ahead and lay grounded again with block. They can lay grounded, and they can every time take away all that. They can take away all that stuff right there, and all you can do is just back up, or just So, and then you try to read that because they're laying on the ground, and then you say, okay, you want to lay on the ground, I'm going to go ahead and pick you up real fast, whatever. And then they don't lay on the ground. If you go to, take a step back to do the deep jump kick on them, then they get up and then they do something instead while you're trying to back up. Or they lay there, cross blocking, and you go to down 3 them, and then they do a wake up attack. They're basically the options you're going to have if the opponent, here's what I mean to say, and this is going to be the best way to say it. What your opponent is doing by laying on the ground or doing a wake-up attack is going to put you in a situation where no matter how you guess, you're never going to get the full charge back 2 setup at all, because of the options your opponent's taking. So now the risk-reward is more in the opponent's favor than it is yours. So the risk-reward in the corner is always to be in Sub-Zero's favor. So why would you want to do setups where the risk-reward is equal when you already have guaranteed setups with more damage and guaranteed positioning and guaranteed setups where the risk-reward is heavily in your favor and very little in the opponent's favor? And that's basically one of the absolute biggest keys to Sub-Zero.